As a dominant, do you find yourself confused, exhausted, or chronically frustrated with your submissive? As a submissive, do you find yourself clingy, emotionally volatile, and unintentionally sabotaging your relationships? When everything started so good, how did things go so bad? Stay tuned today as I reveal the 15 subtle signs of toxicity that may be contributing to your dynamic's demise. If you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you enjoy this video, hit like and subscribe as it really helps this channel and community grow. And if you find this video helpful to you and your unique relationship dynamic, you can support the work that goes into this channel over at my Patreon, patreon.com/LXerotica. So what I run into so often in my mentor sessions is the presence of attachment styles influencing, often for the negative, an otherwise functional and beautiful power exchange dynamic. Because this subconscious attachment is really what begins to drive the relationship and eventually sabotage the couple's kinky play or BDSM lifestyle. And here's how. Everyone identifies with at least one, likely more, attachment styles. And attachment styles are basically how we learned to relate to ourselves and others as children. Now, these attachment styles are secure, anxious preoccupied, dismissive avoidant, or fearful avoidant, otherwise known as chaotic attachment. Now, the goal is to have two secure partners operating in a healthy and mutually respectful arrangement. But often, this is not the case. And I have found as a general pattern that subtypes are more prone to the anxious side of the attachment spectrum, whereas dom types are more prone to the avoidant side of the attachment spectrum. And that is often where issues begin to surface as both partners begin to subconsciously trigger another's attachment wounds until disconnection is inevitable. But it doesn't have to be. If things are currently rocky in your relationship or power exchange dynamic, the first step toward a solution is awareness. And that's the purpose of today's video. This is not about guilt, shame, or a character assassination. If you as a sub or dom type identify with some of these traits today as we go through the list, no one is judging you or condemning you. We simply need to know where we currently are if we want to move into something else. Awareness is always the first phase of growth, and that's all we're doing today. Bringing awareness to your situation so that you and your partner can create a strategy for positive change. So with that being said, the following traits will manifest if you have an anxious preoccupied attachment style driving you subconsciously. So take notes of any of these traits you identify with and how they may be impacting your relationship, starting with limerence, which is where the submissive will mentally obsess over their dominant. Limerence allows the dominant to become the submissive's all-consuming thought to a very unhealthy degree. And if you would like me to do a video about the differences between authentic and healthy love and limerence, comment below and let me know. An insecurely attached submissive might also be highly jealous or even paranoid about their partner. Because despite their dominant's consistency, the insecure submissive tends to struggle with fully trusting them. And they may even project their insecurities onto their dominant. This type of submissive likely also seeks constant attention or validation from the dominant, and obsessively pursues reassurance from their dominant to ease their stress, anxiety, or insecurity versus emotionally regulating and self-soothing. And this will often make the submissive seem very clingy and needy in the eyes of their dominant. And the insecurely attached submissive will do so because they're often mentally preoccupied with how their dominant perceives them versus being secure in their own sense of worth and identity. This also causes the insecure submissive to be highly sensitive and reactive to their dominant's moods and actions. And this type of submissive will tend to overanalyze and or magnify any negative or uncomfortable situations or interactions with their dominant. In fact, this type of submissive will also have great difficulty being away from their dominant, and they find separation very triggering. So in order to avoid this distance, the submissive might use service, gifts, tributes, etc. to love bomb their dominant. Not really authentic submission. It's a manipulative move. It's love bombing their dominant as means of preventing rejection or abandonment. Because insecurely attached submissives are highly triggered by any real, perceived, or imagined distance or rejection from their dominant. And because this type of submissive lacks emotional stability, they will likely be very emotionally volatile and or dramatic, and will often struggle to self-soothe and regulate their emotions during any real, perceived, or imagined conflict. So, how did you do? If you followed along with the test, let's start taking action to make a change. So, comment below and let me know how many of these points did you identify with? Or which of these traits do you most want to focus on improving? I ask this because over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about traits of toxic dominance and how both dom and subtypes can practically move into secure attachment for the most fulfilling relationship or power exchange dynamic ever.